plan. I want to bring in columnist for Bloomberg View, Jeffrey Goldberg. CNN's own Jessica Yellen is back with us. And Andrew Tabler, author of In the Lion's Den, an eyewitness account of Washington's battle with Syria. America's best friend and most famous public ally, the UK, has already opted out. They're not going to participate in this. Where are the U.S. allies, Jessica? This makes George W. Bush's coalition of the willing look like the League of Nations. There's no one really coming to the fore except for maybe France and Turkey.
It is striking, and it's one of these instances where you start to wonder if the U.S. should start to look for a different set of allies in this case. For example, maybe Saudi Arabia, who has enormous interest in this instance and the capacity truly to be of assistance, or even Turkey, which sits on the border with Syria and has a real interest. I know we believe that that's never going to happen, but there's real reason to think that maybe these are the countries that could step up and actually say, hey, we could give you an assist here. And maybe part of the reason the president's taking this to the American people is to say, there are other countries who are whispering in our ear and saying they want to help, they care about this. I want some of these other countries to speak up.
Look, it's a completely normal reaction on the part of Americans to say, hey, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, you think this is such a terrible problem? You have these big air forces that we know you have them because we sold them to you. And, you know, you go deal with this. I mean, this goes to that issue of the general fatigue that Americans have with dealing with the complexities of the unraveling Middle East. And so that's what you're fighting against.
Andrew, the Arab League decried what the Syrian regime has done. And obviously some members of some of the Gulf countries, the UAE and Saudi Arabia in particular, will do some things to help out. But where is the Arab League in all of this?
The Arab League has put forward a resolution saying that the Assad regime should be held responsible for it, that they should be punished, but they stopped short of actually saying that there should be a military strike. Now, the Obama administration is declaring that a victory, as long as it's not opposed to it. But there's a lot of constraints within different Arab systems, different Arab societies about U.S. intervention. A year ago or 2 years ago, it might have been a very different case at the beginning of the Arab uprisings. But now, as war fatigue has set in, inside of Syria, as the war's raged on, as the death toll has gone through the ceilings, people have begun to change their minds a bit.
The New York Times, Jeffrey, referred to AIPAC, the pro-Israel lobbying group here in Washington, as the 800-pound gorilla participating in some of the lobbying efforts. Yeah. How much of this debate is about protecting America's ally, Israel?
Well, it's actually being exploited to a certain degree because the truth of the matter is Israel can defend itself against Syria. It can contain that threat, manage that threat. As we know, Israel has already launched missile strikes repeatedly on Syrian targets.
Took out their nuclear reactor.
So, well, that's in 2007, but even recently they've been attacking missile convoys and the like. They've been dealing with the problem as it unfurls. There is a second-order component to this that is very much to do with Israel, which is Israel, like any American ally in the Middle East, needs America to have credibility and deterrent credibility in the Middle East. And so Israel is worried that if Obama doesn't strike Syria, that the Iranians will take this the wrong way and say to themselves, oh, you know what, Obama is not capable of intervening in a military way in the Middle East, so we're just going to go build our nuclear weapon. That's probably a mistake to think that way, but that's the way people are thinking.
And Jessica, one of the things keeping Israel from bombing Iran is this promise from the United States that the United States will never let Israel be attacked by a nuclear weapon, and the United States would take action. Do you think that Israel has a case to make? If Obama doesn't act here, then who knows what Netanyahu's going to do?
This is one of those situations where I think that the White House views that as a false equivalence, and I have a hard time seeing the equivalence there, and I know that you will disagree with me, but I think that there is...
You might be wrong. But yeah, you might be wrong, but go on.
If the president believes that Iran poses a genuine threat, he would take that action. But if he's drawn a line by accident, or that he doesn't truly believe on Syria, that he doesn't actually want to take, or that was a mistake of rhetoric, and he doesn't truly believe in it, I'm not saying that that's where he is, but if that were the case, that's a different, you don't have to, I mean, it's almost like a Hollywood scenario where a president has to take an action because he said something and now has to stand up for his credibility.
I want to give Andrew the last word here.
But he didn't just draw it with any old power in the region. He drew it with the Assad regime Tehran's major ally in the region. I can't imagine that the Iranians would read it any other way. Very simply, he laid down a red line, and if he didn't mean it, he shouldn't have done it in the first place. It's like directly telegraphing it to Tehran, and I think that they're taking it very, very seriously.
All right, Jeffrey Goldberg, Andrew Tabor.